Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to my shop. In this video, I'm going to share with you how I put this very large bullnose on the seat rails for my garden bench. Now, you'll notice that I've already cut the joinery for this, and the reason is because I was losing all my reference surfaces or on the top and bottom, and on the back, the reference surface is intact. However, clamping to a half round, if I done the profile first, is not the easiest thing in the world. Now you notice that this profile is asymmetric, so I had to have two different setups for both the top cut and the bottom cut. Now the cutter head I used on this is a corrugated knife cutter head, and this is, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to hold this, but if you look at that projection on those knives, it is 26 millimeters. And that is not sufficient to do that profile in one pass. I had the knife height to do it, or the shaper head height to do it. However, in order to make that cut in a single pass and just have it perfect, the knife projection on this would have to be up in the 40 millimeter range. And I just felt very uncomfortable and unsafe doing that. So I had this knife, these knives ground such that I could tilt the spindle on my shaper and make this in two passes with much less knife projection. Now, because I'm doing a tilting spindle, it makes the setup more complex. So what I did, I took my profile and 3D printed a setup block, and I put rare earth magnets in the top and bottom to hold to the table, or in this case the insert rings, and I used this to visually set up the angle and spindle height to the optimum position. And there were different setups for the top and bottom because this is an asymmetric bullnose. With that said, I just thought I'd share that with you before we get started, and let's just get to the setup and the cuts on this these seat rails. The height, at this point what I would be doing is looking at this at the maximum arc. And I can see my spindle is too low. To set the fence position, I just took an off-cut of cherry that's about 4 millimeters thick and ridge it across the fence. Move that fence back a little bit. And I am just touching there. So that's where I want to be. I want that fence down. Which changes the position a little bit when you lock that the fence down. So I'm just hearing a very, very tiny cut on one of the knives. The other is not touching. So the next thing is I'm going to just take this off. Now this is my stock. I've got it marked which side I'm going to profile because I don't want to profile the other side because my joinery would all be messed up, and I marked the top with an arrow, so this will actually be fed in for the first series of cut that way. Okay, so what I want to do now is put a variation of an outboard fence, because I don't want this stock rotating, particularly on the second cut, such that this rotates outward. Now I'm going to have to adjust this because I know that my fence setting will be different, slightly different for the second cut. Now this was my very first outboard fence. Aigner makes these rail connectors, and this is just a piece of, I think this is birch. Looks like 15 millimeters thick, and I put the ultra high molecular weight poly tape on one edge. And what I'll do here, I've got these rails on both the in-feed and out-feed side. And let's see here, if I can get that on. I'll just drop that in position. I'm going to position this such that it's here. And with the ultra high molecular weight poly tape, I can move it. There is some friction, but before I did this, on both the table and the fence plates, I took the slip it material and I just wiped on a coat of that. I need to maybe a little tight there. Don't want it too tight, but I don't want it loose either. All right, that's a lot better. So the next thing I'm going to be using this is called an Aigner pressure module. Felder does have these. It comes with the pressure module and their what they call their P channel adapter, and the P channel goes on their sliding tables. So I'm going to slide this in position. On the outfeed side. And I can raise this, get that what seems to be a reasonable position, and position this. And what you'll notice here, let me make sure I'm in frame. Yeah, it's still in frame. There is as I move this is spring loaded. And what I've typically found is I just contact it and then just push it ever so slightly in and tighten that knob. Okay, so right now I need to move this out of the way now that this is set up. I'm going to move the power feeder in position. So I'm going to try feeding this and just make sure that it feeds smoothly. But before I do that, I need to put my pressure module back on. And I do clear the wheels and just lock this in position. So this gives me downward pressure and toward the fence pressure from the power feeder. This gives me fence pressure on the outfeed side from the pressure module, and my outboard fence will prevent rotating of the stock. At least that's what I'm thinking. So now I'm going to do a trial run on my stock, make sure they feed. And I'm also going to try the second piece as well. just in case there's any variation. Okay, and everything seems to feed smoothly. And we remove this. Swing my power feeder out of the way. And now reinstall the cutter. I'm going to reestablish on the power feeder position. And the pressure module. Okay, so this one, I actually both of these, there's just a very slight flat spot here, which is fine with me because I've got another opportunity to take some of that off. I'm okay with the flat spot because this does require some sanding. But you can see this was a healthy cut, and I think it looks good. So now let's see if I can get the curve to match on the opposite side. Okay, so this wasn't a perfect setup, but I was quite cautious because I did not want to overcut. Let me see if I can get that here. You can see on this edge there's just a slight edge there. I could try to readjust this and run it through again, but it looks like I'm off ever so slightly. So should I try it again? I don't know. Okay, I've decided to give it one more run on the bottom side. I noticed I did have a slight ridge on the top created by that profile, but I think that I ought to be able to get that out a whole lot easier than the bottom. Let me try this again. So just to wrap this up, I was very satisfied with how stable that stock was feeding through that setup, even after that second cut, it was very stable. That stock was not rocking, so whether I needed to do all I did, I don't know, but I was happy with it. It wasn't that much effort. So let me swing the camera around and let's see what I got. Okay, so these are the seat rails that just finished up. I do have some more cleanup to do because I do have ridges where the cutters overlap from the multiple passes, both on the top and the bottom. It surprised me on the top because I thought I put enough effort in to avoid this, but it's very, very minor. So I'll clean that up with either a scraper or a block plane, sand it, and then these will be ready to go. But one of the reasons I wanted to do this first was primarily because I was most concerned about this. And this is a mock-up. I cut this out of some MDF on the CNC machine. This will be the end cap, and these seat rails will go into this end cap. So I wanted to check my reveal was satisfactory. And I will be using the Festool Domino 700 connectors, or the connector set for this. And for these, I will not be using the Festool Dominoes, but FastCap makes some plastic ones with barbs. They're called fast tenons. They only make them in 6x38 millimeter. And when that goes, because it's got barbs, once it goes together, I don't expect to get it apart. But I wanted a mechanical fastener for this joint. So this, I'm just going to check the fit up and look at the reveal all around. Make sure my bottom is on the bottom and the top is on the top. Now this will not close up because I did not put these dominoes all the way through. I only went so deep in the CNC. But primarily I'm just looking at this reveal all the way around. It's pretty uniform. I think I'm going to be happy with it. And these other slots, these are for the seat slats. I cut these out on the CNC, and I'm probably not going to show it. I'm going to be using the pano router to make integral tenons there. Having a mechanical joint here, or mechanical fasteners to hold the seat rails on both the front and the back together. I figured the tenons, I may not even need to glue them. I will, but this is the option I chose for that. I just wanted to see how well it went together. But overall, I think this project is coming together. This one was what I viewed as the most difficult and part that concerned me because I'd not done this before. And honestly, it worked out a lot better than I expected it to. This setup block of my profile, I don't know how close I got, but let's see here. I don't know, it's pretty close. I'm happy with it. So, hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.